You ready? You want to save this? Let's do it.
That's crazy.
That's crazy thickness here. We got crazy thickness going on here. So we should,
I look like I need to speak to the manager.
Yes. Can I speak to the manager, please? Hello, this is Greg Berzinsky for Beardbrand Alliance, and today I'm joined by
Victor Berzinsky.
You know us, but you don't know what we're going to do. But I guess you might have gotten a hint already. We are going to cut off Victor's hair. So seriously, we are going to cut Victor's hair. It has been a while since I trimmed Victor's hair. As he said, going back to high school, when he was a little kid, I used to trim his hair a bit. You can see that in this picture. You can also see how his hair has gotten darker since he was 4, 5, 6 years old. But as he said, time for a haircut. And so what do you want to do?
I'm thinking about going a lot shorter, kind of a medium length haircut. Something in this range. This is something he's talked about before. I've even mentioned bringing pictures to show your barber something you kind of like as a haircut, and then talking as you get your haircut about maybe what changes to make, or also it's going to look a little different because your hair looks different. And yeah, so something in this, about this length, to style it that way.
Okay. It's interesting when you go, if you're web searching a haircut and say, in his case, thick, straight, medium length hair, the internet isn't always going to give you what you want. So be realistic about your expectations. If you have straight hair, don't show the barber a curly haircut, and vice versa. You know, if you have thick hair, don't show wispy haired photographs unless it looks like it's done through a haircut. We found out tonight that Victor never combs his hair. So if you look at the back of Victor's hair, you can actually see where layers were in the back here. So you can see that the last layers were put in his hair here, and he literally has not had any haircut in that 18 months. So his hair is damp, and I think we need to wet it a little bit. So I'm going to actually wet that.
Here, one second. I need to clip this in. Ow!
This is a big ponytail here. You know, there's a lot of hair here. We're looking at, you know, that's a lot of hair. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to start pretty much how other barbers do this, and we're going to take off some significant hair. You ready? You want to save this? Let's do it.
That's crazy.
That's crazy thickness here. We got crazy thickness going on here. So we should, do we have a ponytail clip anywhere? I'm just really cutting off a significant amount of length here. It's probably going to be cut over again. But you know, we're looking at that picture. We thought it was it Henry Cavill? Mm-hmm. But we actually don't think it is. But someone who is like him, who's a big guy, so it's not dissimilar kind of look stature-wise on a guy. So basically pulling all of this up, debulking. So as I come down the head here, what was up here is now falling down, so I'm going to cut off those corners as we get closer to the bottom. I think normally I would use a smaller comb, or like our typical Beardbrand comb, but for hair as thick as his is, and I mean this is really thick hair, I'm using this wide tooth comb. So you can see the blunt cut in the back here, but I've already put in significant amount of layers in the back of his head. So he looks a little like Kate +8, you think?
I look like I need to speak to the manager.
Yes. Can I speak to the manager, please? So this is really above his ears. Do you really want your hair cut?
This might be a little longer than that.
I think so too.
That.
So I sectioned off. This is the top of the hair. I'll do the same thing on the other side. And we're going to go down this far, pulling the hair out to the side also. Seeing the cut that I had made on the top, and now cutting off this corner. As we get closer, if you leave those layers long on the bottom, all the long, that's where you get that wedged kind of look. So we're taking these layers a little higher up. The picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, not that I'm calling myself that, but I'm thinking of famous pictures of fathers cutting their son's hair. And I think of that one, there's, I think it's, his son's name is Patrick, is that right?
I think that's right.
Yeah, picture of him cutting his hair as a little kid, and then as an adult. I'm gonna look to see what I did on this side. Combing this hair forward. Brushing the cheek over here. Pulling the side forward. It's pretty much the same length. I learned to cut hair to the extent that I can cut hair as a kid, and I was given freedom to actually trim my dad's hair and to trim my sister's hair, and so it's something I learned to do. And actually, when I was in college, I stayed at Penn State for one summer, and I couldn't find a part-time job. And so I put up flyers in the telephone poles and in the cafeterias for $5 haircuts. And people called me. And at the time, getting a haircut might have cost more like $8 or $9, so it was a bargain. And I made a living that summer cutting hair. And at the time, it was more than minimum wage. And so I thought I was high on a hog here. I'm actually feeling with my pinky, my other fingers, the distance I am off the head, comparing it to what I did on the other side. That's why it kind of matches, because my hand here is touching the head. I can feel my fingers and gauge how far I'm off the head. If I was cutting it shorter, I would use 2 fingers or 3 fingers. So I don't know if other people do that, but that's kind of what works for me.
I always hate that.
What, sorry?
No, just hearing the scissors that close to my ear.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't feel a thing. That's the father's line as he's combing the kid's hair. Daddy, Daddy, that hurts. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't feel a thing. It's a father of the year.
Dad jokes.
So we're going to take off a bunch of the weight of the top.
Don't you use those shears?
Hmm?
No shears.
No shears?
You know, thinning shears?
Thinning shears. No thinning shears from coming in from the Berzinsky house. Mm-hmm. Taking this upper triangle of hair, you can see that it's pretty uniformly cut. A lot is said of texturizing, and you know, texturizing, what people do is they point cut into the hair.
Whoa.
Which, you know, my pet peeve is barbers who's, you know, they point cut someone into someone's hair and then they'll pick it up later on and say, oh, you can see the frayed edges, and in reality, they had put the frayed edges in there the last time they cut it. So like, if you want perfectly blunt hair, don't point cut into it. So I'm wrapping around to the other side. I'm going to cut off that corner and then connect it with the side hair that I did before. So that hair was cut on the top, and then we're tying it into the hair that we cut shorter on the sides and in the back. So we're going to take that and make it just and we'll soften this layer as we come around the front. I mean, as we even it up. You don't want to cut it too short. You can actually see Victor has...
What?
A man neck. Manek.
Ow!
Might have to get your clippers up to fix that. So what I'm going to do is make a transition between the ear, which I think is a little better on this side, by striking a line from the crown to the ear here. This will be ear, and this is back. And shorten this up just a little bit down here. So until Victor was probably, I'd say 6 years old, I cut his hair at home. Maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, right? Kindergarten? Mm-hmm. Did not like going to the barber. I'd take Victor to the barber, and we saw, who was our barber?
Mike?
Chuck.
There we go.
How did I know?
Yeah. When I started going to Chuck the barber, he was a local barber shop. It was a dad and 3 sons. And then this tells you where barbering was, and we're going back into the 90s here, or the mid 90s. Barbering was going out. People were favoring a stylist. The father retired. The sons were in the shop, and one by one, business was dwindling off, and Chuck remained. And so, the other guys didn't see the resurgence of barbering, because now it's pretty hot in Philadelphia, and finding a good barber is not an easy thing to do sometimes. But I would take Victor to the barber earlier on to see if he could get a haircut from the barber, and I think you did not like the sound of the scissors or the buzzers or the clippers around your ears then also. So some things don't change. I'm going to cut this, and then he can live with this for a little bit. There's plenty of hair here if he wants to go to a barber or stylist back in Tempe or Phoenix, do something else or to even this up. He has flexibility. Often if you blow your hair in one direction and then part it on the other side, you blew a lot of volume into it. So sometimes, a lot of times that actually works to do that.
Oh,
there we go.
Very nice.
Do you feel traumatized?
No.
No.
Not at all. I think it'll probably be like, I don't know, it's definitely like, looks different, but I just cut, how much, 10 inches off my hair.
Hold your hair up into the ear.
Oh, no.
That's even just the short bottom of it. It's not all over your hair, because look on the floor here.
No, not traumatizing at all.
Well, there you go, guys. Don't try this at home. I have a little experience, unless you are a trained barber. I think you're going to see in the next video I make how to get someone that you love near and dear to you to cut your hair, or at least a friend, and what you can trust someone with who doesn't have much experience. But for this, I guess enter at your own risk. Thanks for watching, and until we meet again. How about a gray hair?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that is... It's long, too!
Whoa!
Are you kidding me?
Like father, like son.
Man, this ear stings.
No!
What? Grab the hair and rip.
No!
What?
Actually, I say to people who are early, just one, not all of them. You taking?
Yeah, Mom was just in the shower.
Okay, Mrs. Berzinsky.
Family affair. That was so funny.
Whoever knew sweat could smell so good? I did, because I've been using Beardbrand's new deodorant. Grab it at beardbrand.com.